One of the most iconic fragrances ever, a bestseller, a hit, a great smelling fragrance, has spawned a number of other flankers as well, notably stuff like Ultra Male and Le Male Eau Fraiche. We have a new flanker today, and this is one that I've been really looking forward to trying ever since I saw it initially being released. Ever since I saw word of it online, saw a picture of the bottle looks fantastic, started to get a glimpse at the note breakdown. This one's been on my radar for a while. Of course, that is Le Male Le Parfum, the nice black and gold accent bottle. We're going to fully check this one out today. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs when you can wear it, and ultimately, if I think it's worth picking up and how it compares to some of the other fragrances in the line. And also, if you want to pick this fragrance up, I will leave a link down below to Strawberry Net. That's where I got my bottle from right here. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that. They're not paying me. They didn't send me this for free. That's just where I found this bottle. It was the first discounter that I saw it available on that was in stock. And so I purchased it. They got it here relatively quickly. I chose, I believe, one of the slower shipping options, so it did take probably about a week, but still got my product, and it was a pretty good website to buy from. That link will be down below if you want to grab yourself a bottle of the new Le Parfum. And of course, if you like videos like this, fragrance reviews, top 10 lists, comparisons, and you like getting info on some of the new hot releases, make sure you get subscribed down below, drop a like on this video. It shows that you guys like seeing content like this, and I'll keep it coming for you. So enough talking, let's jump right into the review. Starting off with how this one smells. So when you first spray this one on, what you'll get in the opening is you'll get some lavender and some vanilla. Now what you'll find, at least for me, that when you spray this one on, you'll get reminded of a couple of other fragrances. Those being the original Le Male, right? Just the OG, like we talked about in the beginning where it all started, and also Ultra Male. Just a little bit of Ultra Male, not too much. Now the differences here is that this fragrance doesn't have pear. So you're not getting that pear note from Ultra Male. Also doesn't have any cinnamon either. It's something else that you kind of get from Ultra Male. So some of that sweetness, so that overly sickeningly sweetness that you get from the opening of Ultra Male isn't present in this fragrance. But what you are getting is some of that lavender. And again, that lavender is similar to the original Le Male. So it's kind of almost like a hybrid between the two in a way, or at least in terms of what I'm reminded of immediately when I first spray it on. So it opens up pretty smooth and warm, but as you start to work into the mid, some of the cardamom and the oriental notes start to come in. That's giving it a bit of a spicy kick, and that's probably my favorite part of the fragrance is when you're getting that cardamom and those spices, because that kind of makes a different twist on the scent. You're not getting an overdose of vanilla or a ton of mint and lavender. You're getting a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of lavender, but also a lot of that cardamom, some of the oriental notes, giving it just kind of a zesty, spicy kick, if you will. It just kind of takes the DNA and just changes it up a little bit. One way you can kind of describe it is it's almost like a bit more of a grown-up version of Ultra Male. Still getting some of that sweetness, but it's not overly sweet. Still getting some of that freshness like from the original Le Male, but it's not overly fresh. This one I find strikes a really good balance of being a little bit sweet, but also a little bit fresh, but also a little bit spicy from the cardamom and the oriental note. So it really kind of brings a lot to the table here. And honestly, this one surprised me. I liked it a lot more than I initially thought I was going to. When I first sprayed it on, I was impressed. Working into the dry down, you're still getting a lot of that vanilla and the cardamom mix. So it's kind of like a warm, spicy, oriental mixture there in the dry down. All of that is kind of on top of a nice lavender note like we talked about in the beginning of the video. One thing you will see is the note of iris in this fragrance, and I don't get a lot of it. I do pick up on a little bit of it, especially in the dry down. Mainly I'm getting, again, some of that vanilla, a little bit of woods, a little bit of iris. It's not an overdose of iris. It's not, coming off like a lipstick type of thing. More or less, you just kind of get the feeling of it. And, I've described this before with other scents, like you can tell that it's there, but you can't smell it a whole lot. Like it's just giving the fragrance a bit of a different texture like how iris does. Overall for me, it's a pretty simplistic fragrance. There's not too much going on that it's hard to decipher what you're actually smelling. It's pretty easy to pick up on the key notes that you can smell in the scent. So when can you wear this fragrance? Definitely going to be more of a fall and winter based scent. I think for fall here coming up, this would be a great option. If I would have had this one before I did my top 10 fall designers list, perhaps that would have made it in the video somewhere. Maybe an honorable mention because I still do love Ultra Male in the fall time, but really would be a great contender for fall. That spiciness that this has, mixing with the vanilla and also the lavender, really strikes a nice balance like I talked about earlier, where it could be used in the cooler weather, a bit more mild weather. Just, you know, it doesn't have to be super, super cold to pull this one off. However, this isn't really something I'd wear in the really, really hot temperatures either. So it kind of strikes a nice balance of being in between. Would also be a great fragrance for winter as well. Coming up this winter, this would be a solid choice for you if you wanted a scent like this, a nice, warm, spicy, oriental fragrance. This would be a great option. In terms of situations, for me, I find this one as more of an evening out fragrance and perhaps even just a little bit of a dressed up scent. Now, normally if I was going out in the evening and, you know, maybe dressing up, I wouldn't normally reach for a Le Male fragrance, right? You know, the original, it's a great scent, but not really fitting for that in my opinion. Ultra Male is just way too sweet, way too playful. But this one could have the potential to be just a bit of an evening out dressed up scent. I wouldn't go too overboard with it. It's not nearly as playful as something like Ultra Male. It's kind of a grown up version of that, but you're still getting some sweetness and a little bit of a spicy kick. So, you know, it's up to you. You could wear it for that if you want to, but really for me, an evening out, a date, or anything like that in the fall or winter is when I'm going to be reaching for this one. Touching on performance here on my skin, I'm getting on average of about 8 hours. 8, maybe 8.5, pushing 9. So it's a pretty good performer on my skin. Definitely strong stuff. No worries there. In terms of projection, this one will push out. Now, for me, it's not as strong as something like Ultra Male we keep going back to. That fragrance will really fill up a room and it is very strong. This one, not quite on that level, which is all right because you don't really need anything on the level of Ultra Male. You can just go for Ultra Male for something super loud like that. But this one I do find is a little bit more moderate, a little bit more composed. One where you would discover it more rather than have it announce itself. And that's kind of what I would want from this type of scent. It's a little bit warm, a little bit inviting, a little bit sexy. This type of thing is best when it's just a little bit closer to the skin where people can discover it, but it still does project. Walking through a room, walking past people, they will be able to smell you, especially within the first few hours of you applying it. If you look at the Fragrantica performance thing on there where you can vote telling what kind of performance you'll get, you'll see a lot of people are voting for enormous projection. I don't know if, you know, maybe some people are getting that, which is great. It could also be trolls trying to skew everything, but for me, I don't get enormous projection. Typically, I just get about average projection. In terms of compliments, this is going to be a compliment beast. This is going to be a killer of a fragrance because it has all of the characteristics of a good compliment getter, especially for fall and winter fragrances. I've said it a million times. A little bit of a freshness, not too much here with this one, but you get a little bit from the lavender in the opening and also a nice sweetness as well. The cardamom is going to give it a nice twist, a nice spicy kick. The warm, sexy vanilla is really going to draw people in. This one is going to be really good for compliments, just calling it right now. This is one my girlfriend really does like, and she typically doesn't like sweeter type of fragrances. So it's definitely going to be a compliment getter, and really, you shouldn't have to worry about it there. So let's go and start to wrap this one up, guys. My final thoughts on Le Male Le Parfum. This is a great scent, a lot better than I was expecting because, you know, you see another Le Male flanker, and, you know, sometimes it can be a bit hit or miss. Ultra Male was a bit of a hit or miss as well. Some people love it, some people hate it. And this one could kind of go the same way, although I think this one would be a bit more well accepted than Ultra Male because it's not as sweet. So if you want a nice oriental, spicy vanilla scent for fall and winter time, give this one a shot. It's a really, really nice scent from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier and from the Le Male flanker lineup. Seriously good stuff here. So guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've tried this one or want to try this one, let me know what you think down below. And remember, I will provide a link to this one down below as well. So if you want to pick it up or check it out, that link will be down there as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow morning with another one. Take care.